My name is Sophia. I don't know why I am recording this, but maybe one day someone will hear my story and maybe they will understand me. I wasn't born into a rich family. My childhood was simple, but inside me, I always had big dreams. I wanted to laugh loudly, to live freely, to be loved unconditionally. But life had other plans. When I was a little girl, I used to sit by the window at night, watching the stars. I would whisper to myself, one day, my life will be beautiful. But even as a child, I could feel that love was missing in my home. My parents, they were always fighting. I would hide under my blanket, covering my ears, praying to God that maybe tomorrow they would smile at each other. But tomorrow never came. You know, when you grow up in a house full of arguments, you learn to stay quiet. I became that quiet girl in school, the one who always sat at the back, the one who smiled but never spoke too much. People thought I was shy, but the truth was, I was scared. Scared that if I spoke too much, I would say something wrong and someone would get angry. But deep down, I wanted love. I wanted someone to look at me and say, "It's okay, Sophia. I'm here for you." And then, in high school, I thought I finally found it. He was the first boy who made me laugh, the first boy who noticed me, the first boy who made me believe maybe I was special. But life has a cruel way of showing you the truth. Because the same boy who made me feel like the happiest girl in the world was the first person who broke me into pieces. He promised forever, but forever ended in just a few months. He left without a reason, without a goodbye. And I was left, crying into my pillow at night, asking myself, what did I do wrong? That was the first time I realized sometimes love doesn't heal you. Sometimes it destroys you. When I entered university, I told myself, Sophia, this is your new beginning. Forget the past. Forget the pain. Maybe this is where you'll finally belong. The campus was huge, full of energy, laughter, and people with shining eyes. For the first time, I felt like maybe I could hide my scars and just be normal. I met new people. They laughed with me, took selfies with me, invited me to sit at their table. And for the first time, I felt like I wasn't invisible anymore. I thought to myself, this is it, Sophia. These people are your friends. They will never hurt you. But sometimes, the people who smile the brightest in front of you are the ones who laugh at you behind your back. I didn't realize it at first. I was too busy enjoying the little moments, sharing coffee, staying late in the library, listening to music together. But slowly, whispers reached my ears. I heard my name being used as a joke. I saw the way they looked at me when they thought I wasn't watching. The truth came crashing down one evening when I overheard them talking. They weren't my friends. I was just their entertainment. The quiet girl with a sad story. That's how they described me. My pain was their amusement. That night, I walked back to my dorm with heavy steps. I closed the door, sat on the floor, and asked myself, why, Sophia? Why do people always break the pieces of you that you barely manage to put together? Tears rolled down my cheeks, and I realized loneliness doesn't always mean being alone. Sometimes loneliness is sitting in a room full of people who pretend to care, while inside you know you don't belong. I stopped trusting easily after that. I stopped sharing my secrets. I built walls so high that nobody could climb them. I thought if I protected myself, maybe I wouldn't get hurt again. But little did I know, life had planned another storm for me, a storm I was not ready for. After I closed myself off from the world, I thought, maybe I was meant to be alone forever. But then he came into my life. It wasn't dramatic like in the movies. No, it was simple. He was just a classmate who noticed me when nobody else did. He would smile at me in the mornings, hold the door open, ask me if I had eaten. Small things, but for someone like me who had forgotten what kindness felt like, those small things meant everything. His name was Daniel. And slowly, I found myself waiting for those little moments with him. The way he listened when I spoke, the way he never judged me, the way he made me laugh when I thought I had forgotten how to smile. For the first time in so long, I felt alive. We started spending more time together. Coffee after class, long walks around campus, late-night phone calls where we shared our dreams. And I thought, maybe this is it. Maybe this is what love is supposed to feel like. He made me believe in tomorrow. He made me believe that broken people like me could still be loved. And I let my walls down. I gave him my heart, my trust, my soul, everything I had been protecting for so many years. But one evening, everything shattered. I found out that Daniel wasn't the person I thought he was. He was kind to me, yes, but he was kind to everyone. I wasn't special to him. I was just one of many. When I confronted him, he said he never meant to hurt me. He said he cared about me, but not the way I thought. His words felt like knives tearing through my chest. I wanted to scream, to ask him why he made me believe, why he made me dream again, if he was only going to leave. But the words never came out. Only tears. And just like that, I lost him. I lost the only person who made me feel seen. That night, I cried harder than ever before, not because he left, but because I realized I had trusted again. I had dared to love again. And once again, I was left broken. Do you know what it feels like? To gather the shattered pieces of your heart for the second time? It feels like you're bleeding, but no one can see the wounds. Something inside me completely broke. Days felt heavy. Nights felt endless. I would lie in bed staring at the ceiling, wondering if there was even a reason to wake up the next morning. My phone would light up with messages, but I didn't care anymore. Food lost its taste, music lost its meaning, and life lost its color. I started avoiding people. I stopped attending classes. My grades dropped. My smile disappeared. Everyone thought I was fine because I still said I'm okay. But the truth was, I wasn't okay. I was drowning in silence. Sometimes I would sit by the window, watching the rain fall, and whisper to myself, maybe it would be easier if I just disappeared. The scariest part wasn't the thought of dying. The scariest part was, I didn't feel alive anymore. I was trapped in my own mind, fighting battles nobody else could see. My heart was heavy with memories, my eyes were tired from crying, and my soul felt empty. And then, one night, I broke down completely. I held my pillow tight and cried until I couldn't breathe. I screamed silently, asking God, "Why me? Why do you keep taking away everyone I love? Why do you keep breaking me?" I thought of ending everything, just one step, and all the pain would be over. But in that darkest moment, something stopped me. A small voice inside me whispered, "Sophia, you've survived so much already. Maybe you're meant to survive this too." I don't know if it was hope or just fear of the unknown, but I didn't give up that night. Instead, I wiped my tears and promised myself, if life wants to break me, then let it try, but I won't give up so easily. The next morning, I looked at myself in the mirror. My eyes were swollen, my face pale, but there was something new in my reflection, a spark, a tiny spark of strength. I realized maybe I couldn't control who stayed or who left. Maybe I couldn't control how people treated me. But what I could control was me. And maybe, just maybe, I could learn to love myself again. The morning after that darkest night, I took my first small step. I got out of bed. I opened the window. I let the sunlight touch my face, and for the first time in months, I felt warmth. It wasn't easy. Healing never is. But I told myself, "Sophia, you can't stay broken forever. You deserve more than pain." I started writing. At first, it was just scribbles in a notebook. Words that didn't make sense, drawings of broken hearts, pages filled with tears. But slowly, those words became my therapy. Writing became the place where I poured my sadness, and also the place where I found my strength. Every morning, I forced myself to take a walk. The world looked different when I paid attention. The sound of birds, the smell of fresh coffee from a nearby cafe, the laughter of strangers passing by. For the first time, I realized life had small gifts waiting for me, if only I chose to see them. I reconnected with my studies, one assignment at a time. It wasn't perfect, but it was progress. And progress, no matter how small, is still progress. And then came the biggest change. One afternoon, while sitting in the library, I found a book about healing. It said, "You don't need someone else to complete you. You are already whole." Those words hit me like lightning. I spent so much of my life searching for love in others, begging for acceptance, craving attention. But I never stopped to realize maybe the love I was looking for was inside me all along. That day, I made a decision. I will no longer chase people who don't see my worth. I will no longer beg for love from those who don't value it. Instead, I will learn to love myself. I started setting boundaries. I cut off the so-called friends who only brought me pain. I stopped answering the messages that drained me. I stopped apologizing for being me. And slowly, I found peace. It wasn't about being happy all the time. No, healing isn't a straight line. Some days I still cried. Some nights I still felt empty. But every time I fell, I stood up again, stronger than before. And with every step, I discovered a new version of Sophia. Not the broken girl, not the invisible girl, but the girl who survived. The girl who was brave enough to begin again. I realized something powerful. My story, my pain, it wasn't a curse. It was a gift. Because everything I went through, every heartbreak, every betrayal, every lonely night, it shaped me. It broke me, yes, but it also built me into someone stronger. I began to share my story, not because I wanted sympathy, but because I wanted someone out there to know, you are not alone. I started writing blogs, posting little quotes, and recording my thoughts. And to my surprise, people listened. Strangers messaged me saying, Sophia, your words saved me today. Some said they found hope again after hearing my story. And for the first time in my life, I felt like my pain had a purpose. I joined community groups, spoke at small events, and helped others who were going through what I once went through. And every time I held someone's hand while they cried, I thought to myself, this is why I survived. This is why I'm still here. I didn't become perfect. My scars are still here. My past is still a part of me. But I no longer hide it. Because scars don't mean weakness. Scars mean you fought. And you survived. And now, when I look back at the broken little girl who once cried herself to sleep, I want to hug her and say, you made it, Sophia. You survived the nights you thought you wouldn't. You turned your pain into power. So if you are listening to this right now, maybe you are broken. Maybe you feel invisible. Maybe you think nobody understands your pain. But listen to me carefully. You are not alone. You are stronger than you think. And one day, you will look back at this darkness and realize it made you shine brighter. My name is Sophia, and this, though, is my story. A story of breaking, a story of surviving, and a story of beginning again. I go back into my memories. I see the little girl staring at the stars, wishing for love. I see the teenager crying into her pillow, broken by her first love. I see the young woman betrayed by friends, abandoned by the people she trusted, standing in the middle of a crowd but still feeling invisible. And then, I see me now. Sophia. Still standing, still breathing, still fighting. I realize every version of me was necessary. The broken girl, the lonely girl, the one who thought of giving up. Without them, I would not have become the woman I am today. Life didn't go the way I planned, but maybe it went the way I needed. Because without pain, I would never have learned strength. Without betrayal, I would never have learned self-respect. Without loneliness, I would never have learned how to love myself. Sometimes I sit by the window, just like I did when I was a child. But now, when I look at the stars, I don't whisper wishes. I whisper gratitude. Gratitude for surviving. Gratitude for still being here. And you know what? I am no longer ashamed of my story, because my story is proof that broken hearts can still beat. Now, I dream again. Not of fairy tale love, not of perfect friendships, but of a life where I continue to grow, to heal, to inspire. I want to travel. I want to write books. I want to hold the hands of people who feel like giving up and tell them, don't. You are needed, you are loved, you are enough, because if my voice can reach even one broken soul, if my story can save even one life, then every tear I ever cried was worth it. And to you, listening right now, yes, you. I know what you're feeling. I know the weight you carry in your heart, the sleepless nights, the silent screams, the fake smiles. I know because I've been there. But please listen carefully. Your story isn't over. Your pain isn't permanent. This chapter of darkness is not the end. It's only the beginning. You are stronger than you believe. You are braver than you feel. And you are more beautiful than you realize. So, when the nights feel heavy, when your heart feels broken, when you think you can't go on, remember my story. Remember Sophia. Remember that someone who is just as broken as you found a way to stand again. And if I can survive, so can you. This is not goodbye. This is a promise. A promise that tomorrow can be brighter, that your wounds can heal, that your tears can turn into strength. My name is Sophia, and my story isn't just mine anymore. It's yours. It's for anyone who has ever felt invisible, unloved, unwanted. Together, we will survive. Together, we will rise. And together, we will begin again.